They thought she was weak. They laughed at her silence, mocked her torn clothes, and saw her quiet nature as an invitation to torment. But what no one saw coming, what no one expected, was that beneath the silence lived strength, and when they crossed the line at lunch that day, they didn't just awaken the girl they'd bullied, they unleashed a storm that changed everything. This is not just a story of a quiet girl, they didn't just rip her shirt. They ripped the last thread of fear. And what followed would be remembered by the whole school. Rain tapped softly against the cafeteria windows as Nora sat at her usual corner table, head down, sketching quietly in her worn-out notebook. The buzz of lunch chatter echoed around her, but it felt distant, like she was on a different frequency. She liked it that way. The quieter she stayed, the more invisible she became. And in a place like this, invisibility was protection. Nora had always been the quiet one. Since kindergarten, when her dad left and her mom worked double shifts just to keep the lights on, silence became her friend. She didn't raise her hand in class, didn't join the lunch cliques, and definitely didn't fight back when the jokes started. They called her Blank Nora. The ghost girl. Library mouse. Sometimes even worse. And while it hurt, she held it all in. Because Nora knew, fighting back only made it worse. But that year, something changed. The school had new faces. A group of kids with loud mouths, flashy clothes, and mean spirits. Among them, Kayla, the self-appointed queen of cruelty. And she had her sights set on Nora from day one. "Hey, mouse," Kayla had sneered the first day, dropping her smoothie on Nora's open notebook. Oops. Maybe next time don't sit in our spot. Nora didn't say a word. She just wiped the page clean and moved to a different table. But that silence only fueled Kayla more. Every day, there was something. A whisper in the hallway. A shove at the locker. A loud laugh behind her back. Nora remained still, absorbing it all like a sponge, until she became background noise to most, but not to Kayla. Weeks passed. Nora's mom barely noticed the bruises on her arms or the new tear in her backpack. She was too exhausted. Nora never complained. She knew her mom was doing all she could. That made her stronger, or at least that's what she told herself. Until the day came when Kayla took things too far. It was a rainy Thursday. Lunchroom buzzing, trays clattering, Nora sat quietly as usual. But this time, she had something she hadn't had in months, a smile. Her art teacher had entered her sketch into a district contest without telling her, and it got selected. That tiny joy sparkled in her heart like a secret candle. She wore the only shirt she really loved, a sky-blue hand-me-down with embroidered flowers on the collar. It was faded, but clean, and to her, it felt like armor. Kayla strutted into the cafeteria, laughing with her usual posse. When her eyes landed on Nora, that laugh turned sinister. "Well, well," she said, marching up to her table. "What's this?" Mouse got herself a new shirt. Nora didn't answer. She kept her eyes on her notebook. Kayla reached out and snatched the pencil from Nora's hand. "Earth to Ghost Girl." I said, "What's this? Charity clothes? Or did you finally steal from the donation bin?" Still silent. Kayla's grin widened. She looked around. A few students were watching now. "What's the matter?" she said louder. Too scared to talk? Or just too poor to matter? Then it happened. In one swift, cruel motion, Kayla grabbed the collar of Nora's shirt and yanked. The rip was loud. It echoed in Nora's chest louder than it did in the room. Her collar tore clean off. Threads fluttered down like feathers. Laughter erupted. Someone even clapped. Nora froze. Tears stung her eyes, but not from pain. It wasn't just the shirt. It was everything. The jokes. The bruises. The silence. Her mother's tired eyes. The nights she cried into her pillow. The mornings she told herself it would get better. All of it, boiling up in a single moment. And something snapped. Nora stood up. The laughter faded. She looked Kayla in the eye, for the first time ever, and said, with a voice so calm it was terrifying, "Touch me again." Kayla blinked. "What did you say?" "I said touch me again." Kayla snorted. "Oh please. What are you gonna do? Draw me to death? But the crowd sensed it. Something shifted. Nora wasn't the same. Kayla stepped forward, arrogant, amused, grabbing Nora's arm. That's when it happened. In one motion, sharp, trained, and precise, Nora twisted her arm free, sidestepped, and used Kayla's momentum to send her sprawling flat to the floor with a loud thud. Gasps. Silence. Even Kayla's friends stepped back. Nora didn't run. She didn't cry. She stood tall, shoulders back, shirt still torn, but spirit whole. She looked down at Kayla, who now lay stunned, eyes wide with disbelief. I warned you, Nora said. Security was called. Teachers rushed in. But the truth was, everyone saw what happened. Kayla attacked. Nora defended. And defended well. The principal's office was a blur of explanations, calls to parents, disciplinary reports. But what came out of that moment was far more powerful than any detention slip. What no one knew was that for the past 6 months, Nora had been taking self-defense classes in secret. It was part of a program her mom enrolled her in after a concerned teacher noticed the signs. Nora never wanted to use it. She hoped she'd never have to. But when she did, she didn't hesitate. And the school. It changed. Nora's story spread like wildfire. Not because she hurt someone, but because she stood up. And it gave others courage. A week later, another girl reported bullying. 2 weeks later, a student council campaign started promoting kindness and inclusion.